This is the Padres POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the
San Diego Padres.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, there we go. I think we got the point. What is happening, everybody? Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. Welcome to your Padres Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And the Pods, a little stinker tonight in New York, in the Apple, and I had a bad feeling about it. You remember after the weekend series, I said to you simply, man, they pummeled the Rockies again. And I go, right, you're going to play the Mets now. And the Mets had been trashed. They had lost like 8 of 10, something in that vicinity, right? And they got real hot on Sunday out of nowhere, got a walk-off win, an Alonso homer, and I'm just going, oh, man, timing is everything. And what a time to run into that buzzsaw in New York City, and what a time to have Michael King throw everything right over the middle of the plate. Michael King ripped tonight, 5 runs in the first inning, 10 hits, 8 runs overall, 3 innings pitched for the Padres ace, and he did not look like an ace tonight. And the Mets made sure of it. So Padres lose the opener, their wild card lead over the Mets. Remember, they're in second place behind the Cubs. They lose ground there too, potentially. We'll give you an update on that. And then, of course, you were 5 games ahead of the come on out and beat the Mets, and you lose the opener. You get drubbed in the opener, but silver lining, right? Nick Pivetta, the streak stopper, the ace, the true ace this year on the mound for the Padres tomorrow. And they better get that one. Randy Vasquez, you never know. That's a coin toss in game 3, especially on the road against the Mets. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. It's your Padres Postcast, 8-3 New York in game 1 in Queens on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first watch or listen. We're free on YouTube right after the game. Then after the YouTube show, we upload, you download Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean, and of course, you download OPP. No, Jimmy G, it's OTT, and it's FREE. That's right, Roku. We are free there as well. All right, here we go. You ready? Let's kick it into high gear. Padres Postcast, and we will roll.
This is what you'll be talking about.
This is what I'll be talking about. Bro, man, the Mets with a homer fest, right? Just unbelievable when you think about what they did. A 5-run first inning for the Mets. They beat the Padres 8-3. Just a bunch of home runs in the game tonight. Lindor, Alonso, Mullins, Beatty hit one. So, yeah, 4-9 this month are the Mets. Their second straight following an 8-game losing streak. There you have it. Their longest since 2018. And the Mets were just a game and a half ahead of Arizona in that 4-team race for the final wild card. And by the way, the Padres play the Diamondbacks to end the season right after they play the Brewers, who are in a dogfight now, just a game apart from the Phillies for home field in the National League. And I do not believe that the Brewers will be resting anybody or taking it easy in any way. And you Sun Devil fans in Arizona, right? You guys know Pat Murphy, all you Pac-10, old Pac-10 baseball fans, Pat Murphy, all those years coaching at ASU, and he's got the Brewers just, man, oh, man, oh, man. All right, Brandon Nimmo, RBI single, Jeff McNeil, 2-run double. Michael King just did not have it tonight. For the Pods, Jackson Merrill. For the Pods, Jake Cronenworth. And for the Pods, Freddy Fermin hit home runs, all solo shots. By the way, they had 3 homers and 2 doubles, 7 hits tonight. 3 homers, 2 doubles. Only 2 Padres runners reached scoring position tonight. Unbelievable. And Jackson Merrill, by the way, had another big night. Jackson Merrill has been unbelievable lately. By the way, I have to make sure that I get to this because I was proud of myself for finding it. Extensive research for the program. You know what I'm saying? In his past 10 games, Jackson Merrill, 5 homers, 10 extra base hits, 10 RBI, and a 1.263 OPS. Great job by Jackson Merrill. So they're still in second in the wild card, albeit only by 4 now over the Mets. They are 2 games behind the Dodgers in the NL West coming into the night, which obviously they're 2.5 now. And the Dodgers, last I looked, let me just look one more time for you real quick, tied, and it was scoreless with the Phillies early, though, in the second. So now top three, and of course now the Dodgers at home, they're up 3-0. So they scored 3 in the bottom of the second. Of course they did, right? Of course they did. And I don't know what else to say about that. I mean, the Dodgers have not really hit that hot streak yet either. Neither of the Pods might not have a 90-game winner win the division. Might, barely. But who knew and who thought that the West would be the worst division in the National League? The Dodgers have not really lived up all year. They'll be one of, 5 teams in Major League Baseball, 10 games under their win projection before the season. Man, that's a little crazy when you think about it. How about Sean Manaea? He had been struggling, right? Piggybacking behind Clay Holmes, went 5 innings to get the win in relief. And Holmes' first full season as a starter, 3 hits, the homers by Merrill and Cronenworth in 4 innings. And yeah, man, King, 10 hits, 8 runs, 3 innings. Silver lining, maybe he didn't give up anything in the third. The 4 homers he allowed, though, tied a career worst. That was set April of 2024. And just crazy. Absolutely crazy. You know, you got Alonso who has 35. You got Soto who has 40. And you're thinking, all right, you got to watch those guys. And, you know, you could have Mets teammates hit more than 40 each. And the last time they had 35, 2 teammates who hit 35 or more, I know you know this, Carlos Beltran and Carlos Delgado in 2006, right? Mets scored 5 in the first inning tonight after scoring 5 or fewer in each of their previous 11 games. So hopefully Nick Pivetta, 13-5, can stop that against David Peterson, 9-5 tomorrow night. So that sums up the game. In reality, though, it went much deeper than that. The Padres just couldn't get anything going. Again, it's 8-10 for the Mets, 3-7 for the Pods. They scored 1 in the second, 1 in the third, 1 in the eighth, all solo homers. Mentioned that. Cronenworth, Merrill, and, of course, Fermin, who was late in the 8th inning. Manaea the win, King the loss. Mets scored 5 in the first and 3 more in the second. 3 more in the second. And that was all she wrote. That was all she wrote for the Pods. And for Michael King, just a rough outing for him. And, you know, he's just coming back from the injury to the shoulder. He has a setback with the swelling in the knee. Comes back, pitched really well his first start out, 63 pitches. Really looked good, and you're encouraged going, yeah, I think if anything, you know, the pitches were breaking over the middle. They were. But, man, the Mets hit some high pitches, too. They might be, dare I say it, just really breaking out right now. Remember the Mets down the stretch last year when they got hot like that and they just started cooking everybody? Granted, it came a lot earlier than this year, but maybe it's happening now, and maybe just timing being everything. It's just a crappy time for the Pods to run into him. Fernando was 0 for 4 tonight. Tough times for him again. Gavin Sheets 0 for 3. O'Hearn 0 for 4. Cronenworth 1 for 3. Fermin 1 for 3. Laureano 1 for 4. Machado 1 for 4. Arise 1 for 4. Merrill 2 for 4. Had a double and a homer. King 3 innings, 10 hits, 8 earned runs, 2 strikeouts. Kyle Hart. How about Hart attacking tonight? I've dissed him and ripped him, and, you know, I mean, I'm doing my job and talking about his failures throughout the year, but Kyle Hart, 2 innings, 5 strikeouts. Nothing burgers all the way across the board, but the 5 Ks. Great job by Hart. Inning in 2/3 for Yuki Matsui. Walked 2, struck out 2, no hits, no runs. Inning in a third for Rodriguez. How about Rodriguez? No hits, no runs, 2 strikeouts, and a nice job for Bradley Rodriguez. And so I don't know what in the world is going on with this offense. That, you know, the solo homers notwithstanding, they're just not getting rallies going against good teams and good pitchers, and you'd like to see them get things going offensively a little bit more with the uncertainty with the pitching staff, because you got the bullpen that shuts the games down. So if you can get to some starters early, get into the opposing team's bullpen, that's your formula, right? They just haven't been able to do that lately. They have not been able to do that at all. All right, real quick before we hit the break, and that doesn't mean we're going anywhere. I'm not, you're not, we're still hanging out. Padres POSTCAST, Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. We're here right after the game on YouTube live, and then after that show, we upload, you download Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean, and Roku, free over-the-top television. This is also the same channel, any channel you're watching or listening on, where you will get Javier Reyes with Locked On Padres podcast day in and day out. And also don't forget about Locked On MLB Game Night, Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. That is every game, every night, local analysis on a national scale until a champion is crowned, holding up the trophy like this. Come on into the comments on the YouTube live. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease before I hit the break. One thing to do. Let's do it now.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Pretty easy turning point tonight. 5-run first for the Mets. And, of course, they poured it on from there, and then just cruised to victory. The 5-run first off Michael King, 8 runs tonight, all earned, 10 hits allowed. Michael King did not have a good night. You can see behind me, he does not look happy, and he should not be happy. Hopefully he can figure it out. You have to think he will. Little growing pains here and there. Maybe 1-2 more starts. He'll have 2 more starts this season, right? Maybe 3. And then into the playoffs you go. So hopefully he can get it figured out with Ruben Niebla and company in that time span. And tonight, really, the Mets did a great job hitting them. The pitches were breaking over the middle, starting in a different spot, different air there. I can make every excuse in the world, but none of them are going to matter. Michael King got ripped. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. They're up by 4 over the Mets in the wild card. Dodgers up 3-zip already over the Phillies, meaning that lead could go to 3 in the NL West. And really it's 4 because the Dodgers have the tiebreaker. And yeah, the Cubs as well. Let me real quick before we hit the break. Well, yeah, let me do that because I don't want to forget. Let me give you the Cubs score before I hit the break. And they are, of course, ahead of them in the wild card. And Chicago Cubs beat the Pirates 4-1. So bad news all the way around. The Mets beat you. They're the ones behind you. They gain a game. You lose a game to the Cubs. That's 4.5 now in the wild card. And you're probably going to lose a game to the Dodgers, be down 3 and 4 if you count the tiebreaker. Man, I'm going to try to have some good news on the other side of the break. I swear to you that I will. You have my word. I'm going to do the best I can to come up with something positive, talk a little bit more about this game. We got a couple guys and girls in the chat. We can get to that as well. We have the star of the game. We look ahead to the streak stopper, Nick Pivetta, taking the mound tomorrow in Flushing at Citi Field. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease, Padres POSTCAST, Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, 8-3 Mets in the opener in New York. And I get a chance to tell you about this is really cool, actually. And maybe you won't have to wear beanies on your podcast if you do this, like me. But you've probably seen a million ads for hair growth, right? A million ads for hair growth, and you're going, sure, like that actually works. Sell me another bill of goods, Mr. Announcer Man. Well, I'll tell you what, with so many products out there, it's hard to know which ones are actually going to do anything. That is why I am so proud to tell you about Nutrafol and that you should give them a closer look. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people. And it's not just hype. This is a supplement clinically tested that targets the root causes of thinning and shedding with a proactive approach. So whether you're at work, out with friends, or even just getting ready in the morning, Nutrafol gives you more confidence in your daily routine. I love Nutrafol. Simple to add to your day. 4 pills with a meal. No prescription needed. Do it like a man. And you can feel good about knowing Nutrafol is NSF certified and backed by peer-reviewed studies. See thicker, longer hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering Locked On MLB listeners, viewers, $10 off your first month subscription and a free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code LOCKEDONMLB. That's Nutrafol.com, 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 promo code LOCKEDONMLB for Nutrafol on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And moving right along, I have a question for you. Un pregunta, por favor. Okay, ahora, what time is it? What time is it, baby? There is nothing like catching a baseball game live. The energy, the crowd, the chance to see your team in action in person. But actually getting tickets is the tough part, right? Queues, login screens, surprise fees. It takes all the fun out of it. That's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to fans. Game Time, fast, easy, backed by the Game Time guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price, plus all fees are included. So the price you see is the price you pay. The app is super simple. Even I can use it. I could even see the exact view from my seat before buying, and it's panoramic. You can, scroll it and move it back and forth. It's really awesome. Fees are included. Know your total up front. No surprises at checkout. What do you mean it's $47 more? Not with Game Time. I love zone deals too. You pick the section, Game Time picks the seats. You save big, and honestly, it's faster, it's cheaper, and it's way less stressful than any other way I've ever bought tickets. You know what I'm saying? And I bought them in every way. They were on stone tablets when I was a kid. Just ask my kids. They'll tell you. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's LOCKEDONMLB. That's the code LOCKEDONMLB on Game Time for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And our show today is also brought to you by FanDuel, the NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with this can't-miss offer. Listen to this right now. New customers can bet. Yes, you can. $5, just $5. And if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Let me explain more about that. I love using FanDuel because it fits however you like to bet, right? Player props, building a same-game parlay. How about jumping in live as the action unfolds? You get all that and more on FanDuel. It makes every game way more exciting, right? Whether you're watching your team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup, you love to get the action. We say it all the time on the show. Action on the action with FanDuel. It's quick, it's easy, and the best way to add a little more energy to your Sundays. So are you ready? Are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet with FanDuel on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. Oh, a little bit of love to game time up there. It was a little sticky situation. The overlay didn't stay up there when I was doing the spot, and I probably just didn't click the mouse right or whatever. But, hey, we'll give him a little bit of love and just ask you, what time is it? It is game time. There we go. On the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. 8-3 Mets in the opener. They cut the Pods lead to 4 in that second place slot in the wild card race. The Cubs win 2. They go to 4.5 games ahead of the Padres now in that race. Dodgers 2.5 up right now, but it's not going to go back to 2 the way it's looking. They're up 3-0 on the Phillies in the third inning at Chavez de Stinkhole in a huge game for the Phillies because the Phillies are trying to keep pace with the Brewers. They're a game behind now for home field throughout the playoffs in the National League. So what happens tonight when the Padres lose 8-3 and Michael King gives up 10 hits, 8 runs in 3 innings, 3 homers? What happens? Well, I'll tell you what happens. You lose a game to the Mets. They're now nipping at your heels even closer. And then you also fall a game further behind the Cubs. Right? They won tonight. That's in the wild card. Then in the division, Dodgers hold on. You're looking at a 3-game deficit there that actually is really 4 because you lose the tiebreak. All right, now that we got all the bad crap out of the way, let's hit the comments real quick as we go live on YouTube with your Padres postcast. I am Grease, Gries, at Jim Grease _ on social media. Give me a follow, make you holla. But I will say 7 hits, 3 solo homers, 2 doubles, only 2 runners in the game. Those people with doubles. In scoring position where they went 0 for 2. And there you go. Jim, the Padres are cooked, says JD's third. 8-14 now in last few weeks. Game was over in the first inning, says Robin Rob. Yeah, it's getting to be that way. It was 5 innings in the first. All you want to be is Diggy down with the king. He was overthrown tonight. Checkmate. Jake Freddy, Pivetta, please. He's the stopper. He's 11-3 in games, or 11-4 in games in his starts following Padre losses. Pivetta power, baby. He's got to win that game tomorrow. He's got to win that game. This is when you step up. The rest of this stuff is great. You step up tomorrow and you win this game. Michael King couldn't do it. He'll be all right, I think, in a couple more starts. But Darvish, Cease looked good last time out. Still optimistic. You're talking about 8-14. I know Bogarts has been out. The lineup's been scuffling, but they can get hot at any time. And don't forget Fernando and Manny. They can do that too. So I'm not giving up on them. I think they're going to end up in second in the wild card, and who knows from there. But that's pretty much, I believe, what it's going to be from here on out. All right, couple of things to do. Short time to do them in. Again, we're live on YouTube right after the games. We upload after that, and you download Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean, and, of course, Roku. You down with OTT? Yeah, you know me, and it is free. Over-the-top TV. All right, let's do this.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Is the Locked On Player of the Game. Do I have to even give any Locked On Player of the Game for a Mets player? For a Mets player, I'll just give you who's their guy tonight that I would give this to. I would say probably Lindor at the top. 2 for 3, 2 runs scored, an RBI, a homer, a walk. He's the straw that stirs the drink, you dig? And for the Padres, definitely not Diggy down with the king, Michael King. You know what? I might do something. Just give me a minute. Give me a break. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. I'm not going to do it. I was going to go Kyle Hart. 2 innings, no runs, no hits, 5 strikeouts for Kyle Hart. Kyle Hart attacking tonight, man. Kyle Hart, honorable mention for player of the game. Yeah, baby. Nice job, Kyle. But our player of the game tonight is the one, the only, back to being himself, Merrill Madness. Action Jackson. Jax with the stacks and the racks going deep tonight. Jackson Merrill with a double and a home run. How about Jackson Merrill tonight? Yeah, 2 for 4. Run scored, RBI, had the dinger. And how about Jackson Merrill? This is the second time I'm going to say this on this show in case you missed it. Yeah, baby. Here it is. This is nice. In his past 10 games, Jackson Merrill has 5 home runs, 10 extra base hits, 10 RBI, and a 1.263 OPS. That's what you call bringing it in the middle of a pennant race. Nice job, Jackson Merrill. Michael King will be all right. Don't panic, Padre fans. Do not panic. Plenty of time left. I know it doesn't seem that way. 11 games. Still got the Brewers, Diamondbacks. They're both playing well. Mets surging. That easy schedule, not so easy anymore, but at least you have 3 in Chicago against the White Sox coming up this weekend. And again, tomorrow, Pivetta on the bump, and that game will start against David Peterson, by the way. That game will start at 4:10 Pacific. I'll be here right after with the postcast. Then we upload, you download. Don't forget Javier Reyes, day in and day out, with the Padres podcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And how about this? How about Locked On MLB Game Night? How about analysis? It's local analysis on a national scale. It's every game, every night until the champ is here. The champ is here, and the champ is crowned. That's a nice job they do with that show. Check it out on YouTube, Locked On MLB, or wherever you get your podcasts. Same with us, Javi and me, Locked On Padres, Postcast and Podcast, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean, Roku, and wherever you get your podcasts. 8-3 Mets in the opener. Keep your game tight and your mind right, Pod fans. Try not to lose it too much. They're going to be okay. We'll talk to you tomorrow on your Padres Postcast. Until then, keep your game tight and your mind right. I'm Jim Grease, and I am